Good evening, guests and fellow Toastmasters. A warm welcome to the meeting 216 meeting of Toastmaster Club of Lucknow. I am Dave Parasar, your Saturday Times of the day. I am sure you are as excited as I am for this exclusive meeting. The meeting will be blocked for 2 hours, and you are expected to stay for the entire duration. I would like to begin by stating the mission of Toastmasters Club. We provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self confidence and personal growth. Before we start, I would like to share some ground rules. Keep your videos on and audio off. Turn on the audio only when you are called to speak or need to speak. Regarding the topic of sex, religion, and politics, even though Toastmaster International does not put any restrictions on speaking on this topic, at Club Toastmaster Club of Lucknow, we request all speakers and role takers to be mindful and responsible and abstain from expressing any controversial views on these sensitive topics. I also urge you to be cognizant of the fact that we as a club practice diversity and inclusion in letter and spirit, hence ensuring there are no sexist, racist, or any such undertone that create hostility and discomfort for member or guest. Let me now call upon the presiding officer for today's meeting. Our presiding officer for today is Toastmaster Vaishnavi. Toastmaster Vaishnavi, the stage is all yours.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Dave, for starting the meeting on such a high note. I would like to welcome everybody into this meeting of Toastmasters Club of Lucknow. I'm glad all of you have decided to join on a Sunday afternoon and decided to be a part of our 216th meeting. As I do not see any guests in the meeting, I will be skipping the part where I'll be taking up introductions. And without any further ado, I would like to hand over the stage to our Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Akshat. Toastmaster Akshat, before I hand over the stage to you, let me just tell you that I'm more than excited to be a part of this meeting because the theme itself is very intriguing. So thank you so much for taking this up, and I'm looking forward to every bit of this meeting. The stage is all yours.
Thank you, Toastmaster Vaishnavi, and hello, everyone. It's a lazy Sunday evening, and the winters have crept in, so I can understand that there's some bit of laziness. But even though we are a small bunch of people, I am very sure that this is going to be a very exciting and an engaging session. So you all would have seen the flyers, and the topic for today is let's debate together. And in the format that we follow in Toastmasters, we are sharing so many stories. But these stories are individual stories, and at the very best, we are getting commendations and recommendations for all these stories. But debate is an altogether different ball game, and uh, if you would recollect, you would have some of you would have participated in debates while in college, or maybe as a part of some corporate event wherein you would have used your analytical and critical reasoning to take a stand, right? The good part about a debate is that if you're for the motion or if you're against the motion, you are putting in a lot of energy to basically put your point across, right? And sometimes you're plain unlucky in terms of choosing the side, or in terms of being allotted a side that you probably may not agree to in real life, but in the context of the debate, you are there defending that argument, right? So that, I would like to do a quick screen share, because I feel that whenever we are doing any team or topic, there's some bit of understanding that we can develop and inculcate while visiting that topic. So let me do a screen share. Let me know if you could see the slide at my end.
It is visible, Toastmaster Akshat.
All right. All right. So if you could see the heading says why debate, right? And it's no rocket science that debating has got some bit of advantages to it. And as you can see, all the advantages or the reasons for debating. The most important reason that I feel that one should debate is because it makes your thinking sharp. And in real life, many a times, even if we, let's say, decide to choose our battles wisely, there would be certain situations in which we are part of a debate, either by choice or by compulsion. So why not uh, keep debating once in a while so that our reasoning faculties are always on track and ready to defend an argument that we believe in, right? So that's what I feel a debate is all about. So there's no more reasoning that I need to give on why we should debate. So I would move on to the next slide. It's fairly simple on how we should look at debating. And when you decide to debate, what you're essentially trying to do is you are trying to attack the idea that a person is presenting. And in that process, you should not be targeting that person. And it happens to us many a times that when we are in an argument with someone, we are basically, when we want to take the advantage, we try to attack that personality. So before I move any further, I would like to know from some of you that has it happened to you that when you have tried to put an argument forward, the person on the other side has tried to target you more than the argument that is in discussion. Anyone who would like to probably share some thoughts?
I remember having a debate with my friends last night. The whole point of debate was we were discussing politics and religion, not something I would want to go in depth. But I distinctly remember two set of friends having really opposite views. And instead of going by facts and listening to the other person's argument, the whole point was to counter the other person irrespective of what the other person was stating. So I could sense that the opposite team was not even trying to understand or process the points, and they only have one thing. If it is a debate, you have to constantly shun the other person and just give a counter. I've seen this.
That is so true. And in such a situation, I think we all, I mean, when it is about defending a line of argument, we all have no option but to go ahead and defend it. So I completely agree what you said. Anyone else who would like to share a point of view or a thought or an experience?
So good, that's true. I mean, even whenever you open any news channel, at end of the day, you'll see some sort of arguments happening, and whenever other party is not having a concrete response to it, or they are not able to defend their situation factually, they'll end up attacking the person who's there in one corner of the television, and you'll see that then end of the day, the instead of that agenda, it becomes the personal agenda, and people start attacking to each other, and sometimes it is not even that pleasant also. So I mean, you end up experiencing that on every day, even from the one of the finest speakers, because end of the day, political parties also appoint the spokesperson who are pretty good in that field and who can defend their argument and who can also take it forward in a more refined way. But that's now how we see it happening. End of the day, it becomes personal. Yeah, so that's true.
Yes, and you mentioned the TV debates. I think there was a point in time when I think I grew up watching a lot of debates on TV, and especially if you would remember the early days of channels like NDTV and channels like India Today, they would conduct very nice debates. But probably in the last 5 7 years, I have seen that level deteriorate a bit. So it's very difficult to find some really good conversations in forms of debates taking place. And I completely agree with you that it's something that should happen more often. But unfortunately, the quality of debates has come down, and also probably we also don't want to because many a times it's happening with a lot of friends, right? And we have friends in so many WhatsApp groups also. So sometimes just to save that friendship also, we are not going into, or we are not going into that argumentative mode many a times. So we kind of take the easy way out. So yes, I completely agree with you. All right. So with that, I would then share my screen because while I was trying to talk to you, I couldn't see any one of you. So I'll share it once again. Just a second. All right. I hope the screen is visible to all of you.
Yes,
And so the idea is that you shouldn't be attacking the person, you should be attacking the idea. All right. And when you're trying to post an argument or trying to share an argument, you should aim for clarity more than complexity. Because many a times when our point of view is probably not well structured, we tend to make it more complex than making it clearer. And in a debating format, I know it's a fiery format, so you have to hit back at the person uh, targeting his or her argument. All right. So that was just a gist of or the basics of what and how you should do a debate. Now, today, for the sake of this forum, we will be doing one or two debates with two people. And as a debate master, I would be inviting two participants, probably through a lucky draw. And one would be speaker A, the other would be speaker B. A would take the for the motion stand, and B would take against the motion stand. After we have discovered or figured out who the for and against speaker is, we will introduce the motion that needs to be spoken about. We'll give probably a couple of minutes to think, and then speaker A would do the opening for 2 minutes, and he would speak for, and then it would be followed by speaker B, who would again speak for 2 minutes. And then there would be a 1 minute each round of rebuttal. So in rebuttal, you will try to target the argument of your opponent. And similarly, it would happen for both the speakers. And then there would be a minute each of closing, right? These timings are only as a guideline, and it's not a contest. So I'm not interested in whether you kind of exceed this time or whether you mm, are well within that time limit. So that's the agenda for today, so far as the TMOD is concerned. But before we move on to this debate today, since we don't have a prepared speaker, and we have only table topics for today and a very small group. So we'll see how many debates we should be doing. And because we also have to accommodate table topics, so we will do that accordingly without making it too boring or too uninteresting for all of you. All right. So with that, I hope all of us in this forum are connected, and you can see and hear me. So I just want to do so. Vaishnavi and Anup, I can definitely see Dev is there. Arjun and Tanmay, can you hear me?
Yes, clearly.
All right. And I hope you both understood the format of debate.
Yeah, I have understood. Just one thing, Toastmaster
Mm-hmm.
Akshat. You shared one
Mm-hmm.
screen in which you had written the order in which speakers would be speaking on the topics in the
Mm-hmm.
debate. So if you can just guide a bit
Mm-hmm.
again about it.
Right. So I am sharing that sequence in the chat window. All right, so let's begin with the first round of debating. And just to reiterate one point, like when I introduce the motion or the topic is generally something that would evoke a lot of responses or some sort of a disagreement amongst people. That's how most debate topics are. Right? They're not very politically correct statements, right? The person who would be taking the stand for needs to speak in agreement for the motion, and the person who is taking the against stance need to just speak against the topic. So I hope that is clear. So for instance, let's say if I say that, is ice cream good? So the person who is speaking for the motion would say, yes, I think ice cream is good. And the person who is going to speak against will say, no, the ice cream is not good, right? And just I've got a reminder that I also need to introduce the general evaluator for today, who is none other than Toastmaster Anup. And Toastmaster Anup is based out of Lucknow, and he is a unit head in the FMCG sector. Outside of work, he loves traveling, gardening, and catching up on the latest OTT shows. And I have been a part of some of the sessions that Anup has taken in this forum. If I'm not wrong, Anup took a session on probably multitasking. That was his theme the last time, and he made us do a lot of interesting exercises. So, uh, as a general evaluator, Toastmaster Anup would introduce his team. So, Toastmaster Anup, over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Akshit. And it's a nice and interesting format what you have explained. I'm looking forward to this meeting, and I'm sure all of us will end up learning a lot of things, a lot of newer things, and all of us will get benefited out of it. Just to introduce my role, I am I'll be I'm today's meeting. I'm taking up the role of general evaluator. So my role is precisely I'll come back once we conclude this meeting, and I'll share my feedback in terms of how this meeting has been, which are the areas where we did well, and what are the areas where we can improve upon. And just to help me in this space, I have a tag team, and they'll also be helping us with with their own feedback. So in today's meeting, we have Alex who will be playing timer's role today. So as all of us know that time is the backbone of every Toastmaster meeting, and to keep us all on track, we have someone who brings curiosity, calmness, and zest for learning to everything he does. Please welcome Toastmaster Alex, an easygoing and inquisitive individual who loves taking on new challenges. Outside of work, you will find him playing badminton, meeting new people, and exploring fresh ideas. So I would want Toastmaster Alex to explain his role and and after this meeting he'll again come back and share his report. So over to you, Toastmaster Alex.
Hope you can hear me.
Yeah,
Thank you, Toastmaster, uh, Toastmaster Anup Mishra. So, hey everyone, I am the timer of the day, and I'm Alex Sebastian. As a timer, I'm responsible to keep the track of time by various speakers and roles. So, as we know, there is no prepared speech today. So, I'll start with the timings of table topics. So for the table topics, each speaker has to is encouraged to speak for 1 to 2 minutes, and I will show the green card on 1 minute, and the yellow card on 1.5 minute, and the red card on 2 minute, and you have a grace period of 30 seconds on the plus side. For evaluators, you have 2 to 3 minutes. The green card is shown at 2 minute, and the yellow card is at 2.5 minute, and the red card is at 3 minutes. The grace period of 30 seconds on either side. Any speaker who finishes before or after the grace period will be not considered for the award. I will submit my report at the end of meeting. So over to you, General Evaluator.
thank you, Toastmaster Alex. Our next role player is someone who has truly come to the rescue today, not just taking one role, but stepping up for two critical roles, the grammarian and the counter. And that's the true Toastmaster spirit. Please welcome Toastmaster Vaishnavi, who's an engineer from Hyderabad, and she's currently pursuing literature. She has served as assistant director in Toastmasters Club. She teaches Kathak and carries a deep passion for military history as well as Indian and international affairs. With her love for language and her diverse experience, we are all set for insightful observations and valuable learnings for this today's meeting from her. So, Toastmaster Vaishnavi stage is all yours.
Thank you so much, Mr. General Evaluator. Hello, everybody. I'm Toastmaster Vaishnavi, and I'll be playing two roles of the tag team. I'll be your R counter as well as your grammarian. Let me go ahead and introduce my role as an R counter for today's meeting. Imagine watching a YouTube video and then all of a sudden it starts buffering. Isn't that off-putting, and isn't that something you would not prefer? Similarly, in a speech, I believe the pauses we take, the long pauses, unnecessary fillers, R's and ums that we use to fill up in our speeches, the way I just did, is similar to a video buffering, and I'm here to make you aware about the number of R's, ums, unnecessary fillers, and repetitive words you use in your speech, for you to work upon it, reflect, and ensure that we do not do it in our further speeches. This not only makes you a very good speaker, but when you really need something to fill up your fillers, you can also improve on your vocabulary. What I believe and what I've been told by many people was you use fillers only when you do not have anything else to say. So I will be counting your R's, ums, likes, but, so, and repetitive words, and I'll be presenting with a report once the meeting is coming to an end, when General Evaluator hands over the stage to me. So that is my role as the R counter. Now comes my favorite role of a Toastmasters meeting, that is the role of a grammarian. And for that, I would like to share my screen and show you a little slide. So I am Toastmaster Vaishnavi. I'm also the word master and the grammarian for today's meeting. Word master because I'm not just going to keep an eye on your grammar, I'll also be teaching you a new word and a new idiom for today's meeting. The word of the day is tranquil. It is pronounced as tranquil. The meaning of this word is calm and free from disturbance. Examples of usage of word of the day is, there was a tranquil expression on his face. If the person is calm and stuff, so you just say there's a tranquil expression on his face. This place has a tranquility of its own. The tranquil is an adjective, and this can be used in various sentences, and it also enhances, it is better than saying he looks peaceful. He looks tranquil sounds more bougie and stuff. So this is the word of the day. Moving ahead, I'll be putting this on the chat box once I introduce the idiom of the day for you as well. The idiom of the day is Achilles heel. Achilles heel. The meaning is the weakness or a vulnerable point of some person or a situation. You say Achilles heel when you want to point out the weakness of something. For example, Sonali loves playing cricket, but wicket keeping is her Achilles heel, which means she is not very good with wicket keeping. Vibhu is a lovely person, but his short temper is his Achilles heel. Vaishnavi is a good speaker, but fillers are her Achilles heels. I'll just give you a brief. You'll be wondering who is Achilles, why are we talking about his heel, and how is it connected to weakness of a person? I'm here being a very good English teacher. I'll just go ahead and tell you what is happening here. So meet Achilles. Achilles was a warrior. He was a very famous Greek warrior who's known to be immortal, who's known to be somebody who's very difficult to defeat. So when Achilles was born, he was born to mortal parents. His parents had a limited life, but his mother was in love with the newborn child, and she desperately wanted her child to outlive everybody on this earth. So she wanted her son to live forever. She prayed to every god she knew, and the gods came up with a solution. There is a river called Styx, which makes a person immortal, apparently. So the gods has asked Achilles' mother to dip the baby in the river so that his body will become harmless. So his mother as you can see on the screen, holds Achilles by his heel and dips his entire body into the river and takes him out. So entire body of Achilles is covered with the water except for his heel. So entire body is immune to everything that can go wrong except for his heel. So even if you try to harm Achilles in a war, none of his body part will be hurt except for the heel. That is how Achilles died in the ending. So to kill Achilles, you have to hit him on his heel. That is how this idiom is used. Achilles heel, weakness. Just like the heel was the weakness of Achilles. Was I on mute all the while?
No. We got the clarification why it is Achilles' heel, and it sounded very similar to what Duryodhan was in Mahabharata.
Yes.
He also had
And
one
even
heel.
Ravana, all of these are connected. So this is how Achilles heel came into modern use. I'll be putting up the word of the day and idiom of the day on the chat box that we are on. So idiom word of the day is again tranquil. Idiom is Achilles heel, and I'll be taking a note of good usages and also giving you a few recommendations. I would encourage all of you to use the word of the day and idiom of the day, and I'll also be coming up and applauding everybody who uses the word of the day and idiom of the day. I hope both my roles are clear, and I would like to hand over the stage back to Toastmaster Anup. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Toastmaster Vaishnavi, for explaining your role beautifully, and also, I mean, you have brought a complete new perspective to a grammarian role where you explained idiom of the day way beautifully. So I'm sure all of us will end up using it more often in today's conversation. So that's all from our evaluation team. Back to Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Akshad. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Anup. And just when the grammarian was explaining the idiom or phrase of the day, I got reminded of commuting, which is my Achilles heel. So I always had the privilege of staying very close to all my assignments, be it school, be it jobs. But once I was relocated to a different job location, which was like 20 kilometers, 30 kilometers away. And that kind of surfaced this heel of mine. And the only time I get irritated with this country is when I am having my commuting woes. Anyway, so that was about it. And I hope that all of us, after listening the word and phrase of the day, feel tranquil about the usage, and we are able to use it in our day-to-day communication. All right, so with that, I would quickly move on to the first debate. And to invite two people, I have made chits. So I'll pick up two chits for the first debate. All right. And this person, the first one, sometimes it's getting blurry for all of you, but this chit is going to be the person who would be who's going to play for the motion, right? And the second chit would be against the motion. All right. So with everyone here, let me just pick the first person. And he's none other than Toastmaster Dev, who would be for the motion. Toastmaster Dev, can you listen to me?
I think Dev is not here, Ravi, for the time being.
Okay, Dev is not here. All right, in that case, I would pick up another slip. All right. So this is the slip. This is going to be the person who would be for the motions. Arjun. Arjun, are you there? I'm just trying to confirm if you can hear me. It seems that Arjun is not here, or he's not able to listen to me. In that case, I move on to pick up the next slip, right? So Toastmaster Vaishnavi is gonna be for the motion, all right? And the second slip that I have in hand is Toastmaster Tanmay, who is going to be against the motion. Toastmaster Tanmay. All right. So we have Vaishnavi for the motion and Toastmaster Tanmay against the motion, right? Now let me introduce to you the debate topic. You would get 2 minutes to just think about it, and then we'll start off with speaker A who is going to be for the motion. All right. And the topic is, or the motion is, multitasking is necessary. Multitasking is necessary. Your time to think starts now. All right, time to think is over. So now I would gladly welcome Toastmaster Vaishnavi, Speaker A, for the motion. Toastmaster Vaishnavi, over to you for the next 2 minutes.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Akshat. This was indeed something that has got me thinking after a very long time. I believe multitasking is something we all are blessed to be able to do, because in this world where everything is so fast paced, where nothing takes a lot of time, it is very important for each one of us to understand and start multitasking, because that not just saves time but also increases productivity to another level. Be it be it something as simple as cooking, to boardrooms, to the border, you see multitasking everywhere. This is not making your life difficult by taking up 10 tasks, but multitasking is one way where you can smartly coordinate tasks, where you can use time more efficiently, and you can use the human brain to the best of its abilities. I would like to believe that this is something modern life absolutely demands. If you ask me, I would say it is one of our survival skills. If you keep doing one thing at a time and avoid multitasking, that would not just consume your time, you will also not be able to use your full abilities. You're much more capable than doing one task at a time. I strongly believe that multitasking is one thing all of us are able to do, and all of us should be doing it. I would say it is a necessity, not because you just want to make your life easier, but this also makes others' life easier. I remember my manager multitasking between calls, emails, coordinating an entire team. It only shows your efficiency as a leader, as somebody who can lead, as somebody who can do things in a productive manner. Multitasking not just increases your productivity, but it also enhances you as a person, where you can handle multiple things at a time. This also boosts you personally. This is something that I believe everybody should be taking up. That was at end of my time.
All Yes, exactly. And very valid arguments, very pressing arguments. With that, I now bring on stage Toastmaster Tanmay, who is against the motion. Toastmaster Tanmay, over to you for the next 2 minutes.
Uh, all right. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Akshat and Toastmaster Vaishnavi, for presenting your views for the motion of this topic. Now, I'll be sharing my views against the topic, against the motion for multitasking, whether multitasking is good or not. According to me, what I feel is whenever I like the first thing that came to my mind when I heard of this topic was a story of Mahabharat, in which, if you have heard of Mahabharat, there's our main character, Arjun, and his teacher, Guru Dronacharya. There's an episode in the Mahabharat in which Guru Dronacharya asks all of the five brothers to shoot their arrow at a wooden fish, a wooden bird, uh, which is kept on the branch of a tree. Or and once and only one person who was able to shoot the arrow was Arjun, because he could only keep his focus on one thing, that was the goal, which is the eye of the bird. So if we consider this story as an analogy, multitasking might not be a valid solution for managing our tasks, both in the short term as well as in the long term, because our brain, as per the studies done in many medical researches, our brain can only focus on one thing at a time. That is why if we try to follow multitasking, it might reduce the quality of the result that we aspire to achieve. That ends my time. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Akshat.
Cool. So it has been a great opening by both the speakers for and against, while Toastmaster Vaishnavi has focused on that multitasking saves time, it enhances you. Toastmaster Tanmay has stuck to the point that it's focus that matters more than anything else. So with that, I now bring on stage Toastmaster Vaishnavi. If she has a point of rebuttal or any point that she would like to make, she can do so for a minute. So Toastmaster Vaishnavi, over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Akshat, and thank you, Toastmaster Tanmay. My worthy opponent has reminded of a very good story from our mythology where Arjun, who was a supreme archer, was focusing only on the bird's eye and was being very focused. Imagine day-to-day life. I remember I had to listen to a recording of the previous meeting in order to go and present at my office. I had laundry to do and I had to coordinate for the birthday of my sister. If I go by Arjun's way of focusing on one task, sit down for 30 minutes, listen to the entire recording, then go fold my laundry, and then go and plan for my niece's birthday, I probably would not have been able to be as efficient as I could possibly be. So I just switch on the recording, do my laundry, save time here, 30 minutes saved. And then while traveling to work, I just coordinate for my sister's birthday and ensure everything is in place. So this is something that, because some things require your full attention and it is important to pay your attention. But there are many things which do not need your 100% of attention. You can do it, your subconscious mind would help. That is where multitasking would help. Thank you so much.
Excellent point of view from Toastmaster Vaishnavi. Excellent in a sense that she had a point to throw to Toastmaster Tanmay. So what Toastmaster Vaishnavi is saying, that if Arjun was a Toastmaster today, he would not be able to multitask. So with that, I bring Toastmaster Tanmay to give one line of thought in response to Toastmaster Vaishnavi's. So Toastmaster Tanmay, over to you for a minute.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Akshat, and a very valid point, Toastmaster Vaishnavi. Indeed, multitasking can be considered according to you. Multitasking can be helpful in such situations. However, I if we consider mm, if we consider like practicing something, some skill set, for that, while doing it, multitasking might interrupt the quality of the activity and the result that we're trying to achieve. So for this example, let's say you are a sports person or any player in any game. You are at a national, international level, and if at that level, if you play and you try to multitask, then it might not be good. Thank you.
All right, so another excellent point by Toastmaster Tanmay, that for some mission critical focused activities, what you need is focus. So both of you have some very engaging, interesting arguments. So with that, just a one-liner sum up by both of you on your final point of view, not more than 20 seconds from each side. Over to you, Toastmaster Vaishnavi.
Thank you, Toastmaster Akshat. I would like to believe that skills require attention, but multitasking, here is the take. Multitasking is not mindlessly combining two random skills and doing, but I would say it is one smart way of choosing things that can be done together with good productivity, just the way I am doing our counter and grammarian in this meeting. So this would be my point. You just have to pick, choose, and then perform. Thank you, and over to you, Toastmaster Akshat.
Toastmaster Tanmay, your closing thoughts on this.
All right. So, for my closing thoughts, I'll just like to say that yeah, multitasking could work for a majority of people, but there are people who are in a certain let's say either a profession or they have been trained from childhood that they could only focus on one thing at a time, and that is also a good way to create your life, because you create a list of activities that you need to do throughout the day, and you just pick one and tick it one after the other. That way is also an excellent way to live, and whatever some sudden thing happens, so if anything like happens in your life, you can simply note it down and start working towards it based on priority and urgency. So yeah, thank you.
Excellent thoughts, both of you. And while you both have stuck to your respective lines of reasoning, I think both of you have been making very valid points. So thank you, both of you. I think this has been an excellent debate. This has given you both the opportunity to start off with an argument and also observe the line of reasoning being used by your opponent. So thanks a lot. And you have been very mindful of just attacking the arguments and not the person. So thanks a lot. So with that, we are done with the first debate. Now, looking at the time that we have at hand, we could do one more debate, or we first move on to the table topics and then come back to debate if we have more time, right? So let's do a round of table topics. And to lead the table topics, we have none other than Toastmaster Tanmay, who has been a part of this debate also. And I would like to this introduction ready, but let me just speak about whatever little I remember about Toastmaster Tanmay. So I remember Toastmaster Tanmay took a very good session on his visit to Bhutan, and he was with the way he explained to us the different things that you could do in Bhutan. And this also reminds me that I think he has a penchant for design and probably some visual design. That's what I remember. So over to you, Toastmaster Tanmay, to take us through with the rest of the proceedings.
Okay, so thank you so much, Toastmaster Akshat. Now we'll be proceeding with the table topic segment, and I'll just acquaint you all with the rules of this segment, in which all of the speakers, amongst all of the speakers, I'll be selecting one of you, and you'll have to share your thoughts and give a speech, an impromptu speech on the topic that's been assigned to you. As shared by our timer, Toastmaster Alex, the timings for the speech is 1 minute for a green card, 1 minute 30 seconds for a yellow card, and 2 minutes for a red card. And there'll be a 30-second of buffer period after the red card has been shown. Uh, if you cross that buffer time, you won't be qualified for the polling. All right. And lastly, as shared by our grammarian, Toastmaster Vaishnavi, the word of the day and the phrase of the day have been shared in the chat box. Tranquil and Achilles, if I'm pronouncing it right, Toastmaster Vaishnavi. Achilles, right? Achilles.
It is
Achilles heel.
Achilles. Yeah.
Achilles. Thank you so much for correcting. Achilles heel, which is the phrase of the day. So I request, we'd be really happy if you could uh, use it in your speech, and we'll be showing a thumbs up whenever somebody uses it. Now I'll begin with the first speech of this segment. Anyone who wants to volunteer, please raise your virtual hand. Toastmaster Archita, Toastmaster Anup, Toastmaster Vaishnavi, Toastmaster Akshat, Toastmaster Arjun. Anyone who would like to start with the table topic segment? I'll have to cold call then otherwise none of you uh, volunteer. Okay, so Toastmaster Anup, would you like to take up the first topic for the
Yeah,
day?
yeah. Yeah, Tanmay.
All right. So I'll be giving you the topic now. Yeah. So since today's topic is TMOD session is about debate, so the table topic segment that I have kept is a bit about your own ambitions and dreams. Okay, so I'll be using I'll be sharing a topic based on that. So Toastmaster Anup, the topic for you is, if your 10-year future self walked into the room, what dream would he or she thank you for? If your 10-year future self walked into the room, what dream would he or she thank you for? Toastmaster Ravi, over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Tanmay. Toastmaster Tanmay, just allow me 1 minute. My daughter is here. She's just give me 1 minute.
Sure, no problem.
Thank you, Toastmaster Tanmay. So, if I had to reflect on this down the line 10 years, if I had to see my future self, there are a couple of things for which I'll thank myself. One, for making a couple of right choices at the right time. So, I think one thing which is very prominent, and what I've seen, at least from career point of view or personal choices also, if you're at right place and right time and end up making right choices, that tends to create the history, right? So if I reflect on T20 World Cup, all of us know a lot of cricketers, but one guy who bowled the last over, right, Joginder Sharma, he became the known name all across the India. Just for one thing, not that he was one of the finest cricketers what India has produced, not for the fact that he did something amazing in that over. It is Misbah-ul Haq who also ended up making a lot of mistakes in that over, since that World Cup final was against Pakistan. But it created two histories on that day. One, people came back and supported Dhoni, that he took a very wise and right call at the right time by giving that over to Joginder Sharma. And then Joginder Sharma also created that history by delivering that perfect over. Now, all of us know both of them. I'm saying Dhoni is known for his leadership style, and Joginder Sharma for doing that over. Not that Joginder Sharma has a very successful and long career. He just bowled in that match, and after that, he just performed one or two more international cricket matches. That's it. That his entire cricketing career spanned just for a couple of years. I mean, couple of matches. So if I just reflect on that story, I think I'll end up thanking myself for making right choices at the right time in my early days, whether it is the the kind of choices which I made in terms of studies, whether the choices which I made in terms of choosing the right career where I mean, where which I actually enjoyed and ended up delivering better performances, and also on personal front, meeting the right girl and then getting married at the right time, and then my family, etc. So I think I'll end up thanking myself for the right choices which I made. So that would be my take on this. Thank you, Toastmaster Tanmay. And apologies for the early hiccups. Huh?
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Anu. Let's have a round of applause for our first speaker for the day. You gave a wonderful response to the topic, so kudos to you. Now, I'd like to invite the next speaker for today. I would love to know if anyone is willing to volunteer. Toastmaster Archita, Toastmaster Arjun, Toastmaster Akshat, the TMOD. Oh, Toastmaster Archita is there. Yeah. Okay, Toastmaster Archita, is it possible for you to turn on your camera?
Hi, good evening, Toastmaster Tanmay. My
And
camera is disabled. I had a webcam, but right now it's in another room. I'm sitting far away from my room, so that's why I'm not able to open my camera.
okay,
Yeah.
no problem. I'll share the topic with you.
Yeah.
Okay, so Toastmaster Archita, the topic for you is what does a better world look like to you? Toastmaster Archita, what does a better world look like to you? Over to you.
Hmm. So, better world in itself is an extremely broad concept, if I say, because a better world could have lots of better things. First of all, like currently whenever I open Instagram or some social media, I everywhere I'm seeing the pollution. which I feel if there's a better world, there would not be pollution. I mean, a better world must not have that much pollution which is currently happening in Delhi, because my a huge chunk of my family, like people live in Delhi, and when I see them, when I hear from them what they are going through, so I feel that pollution can be something which should not be there. And if I imagine a better world, I imagine less pollution. And the second thing, if I talk about Indian people, the civic sense, a better world, I mean, I am speaking from the point of view of a girl who is living in India. So, civic sense is something which is required in people so much. So, if there is a better world, there would be a better like civic sense in people. And there are n number of things, lots of things which I can talk about a better world, like which a better world can have. So these are the two things which I can think of right now. And at our level, if we like a solution which we can do right now is planting more trees and improving the civic sense at like individual level is what we can do. And that's all. Like in conclusion, I'll say just these are the two things which I feel they would be better if there would be a better world. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Archita, for taking up the topic really well. And let's have a round of applause for our second speaker as well. Indeed, the two concerns that you reflected in your speech are quite imminent in our society, and there should be some form of solution taken up by the youth as well as, in general, our country as state, whatever you may consider, in every part of our country, so that it gets resolved as quickly as possible. Now, thank you so much for that, Toastmaster Archita. Now, I'd like to call the last speaker for the day and for our segment. Anyone who'd like to volunteer? Toastmaster Vaishnavi, Toastmaster Alex, Toastmaster Akshat, Toastmaster Arjun.
I can take this up.
Okay, you'd like to take it up? All right, I'll share the final topic with you. Okay. So, Toastmaster Vaishnavi, if you could change one thing in the world, what would it be? Toastmaster Vaishnavi, if you could change one thing in the world, what would it be? Over to you.
Every morning, I have this one habit of sitting by the desk and reading the newspaper. I love reading headlines. I love knowing what's going on in and around me, in my country, outside my country. And every morning, there is this fleeting thought that always runs in my mind. The number of headlines I see, the number of horrific news I read, I only think of one thing. If empathy and humanity is something that is more prominent, the world would be a better place. And if I somehow had magical powers, I would fill each and every person with empathy, with humanity. You find people who are extremely empathetic to other person's situation, to other person's journey in general. But then there are people who are not very empathetic. I have personally experienced I've experienced circumstances where I would be extremely empathetic if I was in the other person's place. But then there were also excellent examples of empathy that I've seen. I remember taking a solo trip to Himachal Pradesh. I was going through Chandigarh. I was somebody who has embarked on a trip with zero planning. But people in Chandigarh were so empathetic. I had a bus to board at 2 in the midnight, and I had nowhere to go. I didn't feel safe to go out on the streets because anything could have happened. That is when a few gentlemen in the Gurdwara asked me to sit in the Gurdwara. They assured me that if your bus arrives, we will ensure that you board the bus, but do not wander outside if you're not feeling safe. Sit here. We'll provide you with food. We'll provide you with water and everything you need. So this is one excellent example of empathy and humanity. And I would think, and I would believe that if I had something in my hand, or if I had the power to change one thing, I would install this level of empathy and humanity in every person who, walks on this earth. Thank you so much, and over to you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Vaishnavi, for your wonderful take on the topic. Let's have a round of applause for our final speaker for the evening, Toastmaster Vaishnavi. So thank you to each and everyone in the meeting, both the speakers of the TT segment as well as the participants for hearing their speech. And now I'd like to invite our TMOD, Toastmaster of the Day, Toastmaster Akshat, to usher the session to the next
Thank you,
segment.
Toastmaster Tanmay, for conducting such a wonderful table topic session. And be it table topics or debate, what I can personally sense is that many of us, in fact, all of us, are sticking to a point of view, and we are presenting the facts alongside. So that's a great way to do table topics. And coming back to debating, so I think we can probably include one more debate, but this time I'm just deviating from the format. I thought it would be a two-speaker debate. So I can say that there are 6 people right now, excluding me. How about dividing 6 people into 2 teams with nothing mandatory? I'll give a topic, and then I would invite Team A and then Team B to speak on the same topic, right? And as for and against. And it's for you to decide what would be your coordination going to be like. And the same format, like you think for a minute, and this time it's going to be a minute. And then you have an opening in which all of you speak as a team, and then the second team, and probably one round of rebuttal. Okay. So how do I divide the teams? Let me do that by myself. Okay, so I decide to put Toastmaster Vaishnavi and Toastmaster Anup in one team, and Toastmaster Tanmay and Archita in the second team. All right. So Vaishnavi and Anup, Tanmay, Archita, and we have Alex and Arjun too. So Alex goes to Tanmay and Archita's team, and Arjun, though I haven't heard him so far, belongs to Vaishnavi and Anup's team. All right. So, and let me just address Team A or Team Vaishnavi's team, and they are going to be for the motion. And Tanmay's team, that includes Tanmay, Archita, and Alex, are going to be against the motion, right? Against the motion. All right. And the topic that I have picked up is from the most recent table topics. And the topic is Indians lack civic sense. Indians lack civic sense. Vaishnavi's team for the motion, Tanmay's team against the motion. A couple of minutes to brainstorm.
Just one question, Toastmaster Akshat. In case we want to discuss anything, should we create breakout rooms, or we can use normal our WhatsApp or anything?
That would be too complex for the scope of our. I think let's keep it a free session. So let's assume that if you're speaking against, you can pitch in, you can start off, and then your teammates can, if they want to, they can just add a few more points. I don't want it to be too structured a debate. Just easy going. All right, so we are in those 2 minutes of brainstorming and thinking, and then we'll start off. All right, so the thinking time is over. I would now like to invite Team Vaishnavi, that includes Vaishnavi, Anup, and Arjun, to speak for the motion. And they are going to speak about that, yes, Indians do lack civic sense. Over to you for the next 2 minutes. Toastmaster Vaishnavi and team.
I remember getting a phone call from a friend of mine. She sounded extremely sad, tensed, and was in pain. What happened? I asked. And she said she was going on a scooty to her office, and some person in a car decided to ram into her because he was in a hurry and broke a signal. Everybody in the room, I would like to strongly agree and say that Indians do lack civic sense. And here, I would also like to emphasize on this thing that it is not just about following rules and laws, it is about respecting others along with yourself. If you think it is just a signal that I'm going to break, you also have to think about impact. And this is where I think there is a gap. People do not think about the consequences of their actions. Go to a monument and you'll see names inscribed on really old and precious walls of the monument. Is this not lack of civic sense? I would say it is not just about the lack of knowledge. And I would also like to tell you that every problem that you see, unnecessary traffic, litter, garbage on the roads, people randomly throwing stuff, it is all eventually lack of civic sense. I would now like to invite Toastmaster Anup to add to whatever I just said.
I second what Vaishnavi has already mentioned that as a country, we this is one of those areas where we need to improve upon. And I mean, during throughout the day, if you're on Indian roads for a day, or if once you step out of your house, you'll end up experiencing that at least couple of times, whether it is people breaking the queues or not following the traffic signals or littering, what she has already explained, or even the recent drive which we are taking. I mean, in terms of towards cleanliness, there's a lot of discussion which has happened. We are also making some progress, but still, wherever you travel, you end up seeing people spitting and not following that basic civic sense, which ends up troubling others who are also in the very same ecosystem. So I think this is one area where all of us have to collectively make some progress, and this is a challenge. Yeah, I think our time is over,
All
team.
right, so some great compelling arguments by Team Vaishnavi, and that includes Vaishnavi, Anup, and Arjun. Now over to Toastmaster Tanmay and team to present the alternative point of view. Toastmaster Tanmay and team, over to you.
All right. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Vaishnavi and Toastmaster Anup, for the wonderful take. Now we'll be presenting our against as our speech as against the motion, our debate as against the motion. So our opinions as against the motion. The first point that I feel why India doesn't lack civic sense is if you can see the um, because it's not just an individual responsibility, it is a collective responsibility. If we consider our governments also, the infrastructure that they have built till now, till 2014 and even before, it wasn't sufficient to accommodate the requirements, the sanitary and the cleanliness drive kind of situations. It wasn't an if, it was just for a show. It felt like that. But after that, as an improved government came, uh, they introduced many drives as well as uh, Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, which not only improved the government's like it really brought some awareness into the minds of people regarding this, uh, as to why our country should be clean. Unless the why is not completely clear and etched into the minds and hearts of our people as to why we are taking this action, why is it so important, they will not change it, right? That is why now I'd like to invite Toastmaster Arshita to take on the next point.
Hey,
Oh, Toastmaster Alex, yeah.
so I would like to add a point like as we are a growing country and our youths are really active. So I would like to add that as a youth, we are more aware and more educated and socially responsible for even before. So, like as a youth, we have the ideas of what are wrongs and what we have to do, and what are wrongs are right, and what are our strength, or I might say the Achilles heels of this society. So, as we all know that as a youth we will be uh, more and more aware of our situation when we go further in, and like uh, yeah, sometimes it happens, but blaming everyone for the civic sense is not applicable, because there are many who are not lacking the civic sense, and uh, who are not lacking the civic sense, but they are trying to improvise and get through it. And there are like videos of one person who was literally uh, there was a drainage or something. I was in social media. There was a drainage or something. He was literally cleaning that road by himself. So it was really a act of greatness, I would say, that he took upon himself, and provided with acted, and was a great measure by his side, which is great. And as I said, that youths are leading the changes. So he was definitely a youth, and whenever when he sees, or whenever we will be seeing something wrong is happening with this country, we will definitely improvise with it and bring the changes. So that will be my point.
All right, so some excellent arguments by both teams. So on one side, Team A talks about that, despite knowledge, we are all the time displaying lack of civic sense. Team Tanmay hits back by saying that, there are a lot of factors to blame, like infra, and it probably may not be a wise idea to club everyone together, because as Alex mentioned, that there are people on ground who are doing the cleanliness work. So some great arguments from both sides. Are there any points of rebuttal from Team A? So I'll provide probably 30 seconds to Team A to have a point of rebuttal.
I would like to beg to differ to the point that was made that it is mostly because of lack of infrastructure. I would like to be clear and state and like to quote and unquote a statement. Lack of civic sense honestly is not about infrastructure, it is a mindset. Even if there is infrastructure, if there's a dustbin on the end of the street, you'll still find litter. I would also like to agree that there are people who are doing an excellent job of cleanliness, but it is because there was litter on the road, and that would explain that there are people who lack civic sense just look around, you see unnecessary honking, signal jumping, and stuff that would actually embarrass anybody else. If you show around somebody who's not from India, you will be a bit embarrassed to see how people are behaving in public. And I would like to say that it is all about mindset. It is responsibility and it is a personal choice. Thank you so much.
Toastmaster Anup, you're on mute.
Sorry, I'm saying just to add what Vaishnavi already mentioned. I think civic sense, well, it has got some part of it's to do with infrastructure, but largely it's about attitude and your respect for your shared spaces. That takes the primary seat, and I think that is where at times
To
I think we
continue
have
what
lost.
Toastmaster Anup was saying, as it is about attitude. If you just throw something on the ground thinking there will be some person who'll end up cleaning it, that is your problem. You are supposed to be the one who is who's supposed to go to the dustbin and put it inside the dustbin and not wait for some random person to come and clean it up. This is all I have from my end.
So, Toastmaster Tanmay and team, Toastmaster Vaishnavi and Anup haven't kind of deviated from the stand that they are taking. Anything that you would like to add as a point of rebuttal to what Team
Yeah, I'd
Vaishnavi
like
said?
to call Toastmaster Archita first, and then we'll
Okay.
we'll put our points.
Okay.
Yeah, so once again, good evening, everyone. So the point is, uh, Indians lack civic sense. So my point is, like, it's not just about littering here and there. There are many more things. So, like, instead of blaming all the Indians, I think we should appreciate the good things which people are already doing. For example, as Toastmaster Vaishnavi has given the example of that Gurudwara where she got help from people uh, of Gurudwara. And even if I talk about festivals or elections, where people do follow the instructions and do their part. And if I give one more example of COVID, so at that time also, yeah, it was little tough to like to just convince all the Indians to wear masks, stay at home. But at the end, they did. They wore masks, they stayed at home, and they helped each other. And that itself shows that responsibility, right? So whenever what I feel is whenever there a clear system, like proper, because where I live currently, that's also a rural area. So there is not just completely rural, but yes, there are areas near me which are rural, and there are not proper dustbins there. I can't see clean toilets there. Even the roads are completely, damaged, and online service is also not that good. We don't have Zomato, Swiggy, and all the things here. So what I feel is the Indians do follow the rules. The issue is not that people don't care, but I think facilities are important and they are missing sometimes. And instead of blaming all, I think we should appreciate that who, the people who are actually doing good things, I think they have civic sense, and we need just a better system for improving things. That's my point. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Archita. Toastmaster Alex, would you like to add to Toastmaster Archita's point?
I would say like a lively example which we faced, which everyone as an Indian faced. So this is an example of COVID-19 in which every we were facing a crisis. So everyone in the in this country held up with it, and everyone who was stayed together and united. There was an empathy, and there was a sense of responsibility among the people. So yeah, sometimes you may say that people can lack out of, what to say, out of not curiosity, out of something which had happened to them, the civic sense. But it's not every time. And we as an Indian or as a youth will definitely, we have definitely done so many things. And we are starting a campaign online also, and on the social media, which is really awareing everyone, not everyone, few, or not everyone, most of the people on social media, even though it's they make it as a sarcastic way, they are for the jokes that India is not good in civic sense or something. But the it's affecting the people's mind that, oh, really, that our country is that civic senseless. So yeah, that's hurting people. And because of it, they are really starting to getting aware of, yeah, we should be doing something for this country, and we should be more uh, aligned with the civic sense mindset. So yeah, that will be it. And back to Mr. Tanmay.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Alex. Before I conclude, Toastmaster Akshay, do we have time for that so that I can conclude? Or
I think this has been more of a flexi format, and both of you started off with an opening, presenting your lines of argument, and then you both teams basically did one round of rebuttal. So I think we'll stop here, and I would thank both of you, both the teams, to have come up with some excellent, compelling points. And obviously, as Indians, there is always this unity in diversity, even in terms of the thinking that we bring on the table. So thanks a lot. And this is one topic that probably the more you talk about, the more points would emerge. But now that the debate is over, I would also like to add a few points to this topic. Like, I mean, I agree to both point of views, that somewhere I feel that there is a lack of civic sense, and somewhere I feel that that sense is changing with time, and with new generations emerging. Things are changing. I also feel, when I look at this in a larger context, that these templates, or these metrics, whatever you may like to call it, uh, we have inherited a lot of this from the West. So the West has a way of looking at things, and thoughts about cleanliness, thoughts about civic sense, all of this is an evolving thing in an Indian context. So the more we become aware about these things, the better we would start behaving. And yes, one very valid point that I could relate to is that in COVID, as a country, I was also very petrified that how, as a country with such a large population, when the most developed countries of the West are not able to take care of themselves, how would we cope as a country? But obviously, we all had some disappointments, losing out, or losing a few relatives. But as a country, we emerged out. Compared to other countries, we also didn't do too bad. Like, the kind of inhibitions, the kind of fear that we all had in mind. I still remember a documentary on BBC saying that if all the developed countries of the West are not able to cope with COVID, imagine a country of 1 billion people like India, what it would be up to. And that day and today, I think we have done not too bad. So thanks a lot for being a part of this debate. With that, I come to the end of the TMOT session. And with that, we would go on to the next segment, which is nothing but an evaluation from the general evaluator. So I now welcome back Toastmaster Anup to take us with the rest of the proceedings.
Thank you, Toastmaster Akshit. Thank you. And I think I completely echo that, what the way you concluded, that we are making some progress in terms of civic sense, but I feel still it is one of challenges what we have, one of the areas where we need to improve upon. And it is our Achilles heel as a country, as nationals of this country, and I think all of progress in that front. Now coming to evaluation part of our today's meeting, I'll come back with my feedback of on areas on my take on today's areas. But before that, I would want Alex to present his timers report card for table topics. So over to you, Alex. Toastmaster Alex, are you there?
Yeah, I'm there. Sorry.
Okay. Can you please present today's timer report for table topics?
So yeah, the timer report for the table topic is timer Vaishnavi took Toastmaster Vaishnavi took 2 minutes and 2 seconds. Uh, Toastmaster Anup Mishra took 2 minutes and 17 seconds, and our Toastmaster Archita took 2 minutes and 19 seconds. So that was the report. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Okay, so thank you, Toastmaster Alex. So that means all table topic speakers are qualified, and there are no disqualifications from today's meeting. Okay, so now I'll go to Toastmaster Vaishnavi. Toastmaster Vaishnavi, if you can present the report of our counter and as well as grammarian. Yeah, over to you,
Thank you so
Toastmaster
much,
Vaishnavi.
Toastmaster Anup. Give me one moment to charge my laptop.
Yeah, absolutely. So by the time Toastmaster Vaishnavi comes back, I think one take the way Toastmaster Tanmay has conducted table topics that was quite engaging, and he spoke about the topics with which people could relate, and it was also quite relatable in terms of today's team session. So brilliant job there on table topic front, Toastmaster Tanmay. So I think our grammarian and our counter is back. So over to you, Toastmaster Vaishnavi.
Thank you so much, General Evaluator. Again, it's Toastmaster Vaishnavi again with both of her reports. I would like to go ahead with the R Counter's report first because, in my opinion, that's a bit more boring when compared to General Evaluator's report. So let me quickly share my screen. I would like to apologize if the Excel sheet is all over the place, but this just helps me to keep a track of everything. So the Sergeant at Arms Toastmaster Dev opened this meeting on a very high note, but in his speech he had two R's. There were two filler words which were R's. I just noted them down here. I was the presiding officer, so I couldn't really keep a track of my own speeches. So everywhere I spoke, I could not keep a track of myself. The Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Akshat, throughout his very engaging and very good Toastmaster of the day session, there were some parts where I would suggest improvement. They were used more than 5 times throughout. So's were comparatively less, but they were also more than 5. And he has this thing to repeat the word basically. So I've heard this a couple of times, more than 3 times. So I think if you just work on basically, that is a filler word most of us use, even I do, but I think all of us should collectively work on it. And he has this way, he has used and more than 3 times unnecessarily. Then coming to debater one, it was me. I couldn't keep a track, but then there was debater two, Toastmaster Tanmay. In his debate, he used more than 5 times and was used more than 5 times, and there was one long pause. A long pause is typically something that is more than 5 to 7 seconds. If you do not speak for 5 to 7 seconds, that is considered a long pause, whereas short pauses are recommended and it is of 2 to 3 seconds. Moving ahead, when Toastmaster Anup, who was another debater, was speaking, there were 3 R's and one and, which was used in his arguments. Toastmaster Tanmay, when he spoke again for the second topic, had 4 R's. And then Toastmaster Alex, I did not mention here, but I noted it down in the book. Toastmaster Alex used 3 R's in his debate. The table topic master, Toastmaster Tanmay, while conducting the table topic session, used 4 R's, 4 so's, and one like, 3 ands. The general evaluator, for the time he spoke during his general evaluator introduction, used 3 R's and he used 2 ands. The timer Toastmaster Alex, while introducing his role, used 4 R's and 3 ands. Our counter and grammarian was me. I couldn't keep a track. But then the table topic speakers, Toastmaster Anup, in his table topic speech, used 1 R. Toastmaster Archita used 4 R's, 3 so's, 2 likes. her repetitive word is I mean. She says that quite a lot and was used a couple of times. Now, the problem with and is an interjection. You use it to combine statements. So what we do in our speeches is, for example, if I'm having a conversation with Toastmaster Akshat, and if I say something like, I went to the market, I bought eggs, and I bought bread, and I bought wheat, and I bought biscuits. This doesn't really sound very good. But instead of and, if you can just put a short pause where you can say, I went to the market, I bought bread, I bought an egg, I bought wheat, and I had biscuits. And can be used in the last part. You can use short pauses instead of and. This is one thing that I would request all of you to start with. Instead of ahs and ums, just take a pause. Take a pause of 2 seconds. Think what you want to say, and then you can go ahead with your speech. This is one way to start improving. Take pauses instead of fillers. This is the takeaway for all of you from the Accountant report. Let me go ahead with my favorite report, which is the grammarian report. I would just want somebody to confirm if you're able to see my screen. Yes. All right. So this is the word master report. The word of the day, tranquil, was used by Toastmaster Akshat. The idiom of the day was used by Toastmaster Akshat, Alex, and Anup. So brilliant job there. These are something that can be inculcated easily in most of your day-to-day vocabulary. So I would highly recommend all of you to use it in your vocabulary. Moving ahead to some commendations. These are some really, really good words that were used randomly in the speeches effortlessly. They just went in so well, and you all blended it with your statements in the right context. Inculcate, a refined way, deteriorate, inquisitive, line of thought, acquaint, imminent, inherited, petrified, inhibitious, and conclude. There are some really good words instead of normal words that can be used. So great job done there. I could not keep a track on who said what because I was multitasking. But I think this is good enough for all of us to pick up some really good words from vocabulary. Moving ahead, there are a few recommendations. Luckily, most of us were grammatically correct in this meeting. I could not hear a lot of grammatical errors, but there are a few points I just noticed. There is a heavy mother tongue influence in a few people when you speak. There is this one way of pronouncing things, way of saying things that has a mother tongue influence. So if we can work on it, it's not a bad thing. It is not a bad thing, but it is better if you do not have it because it makes it easy for you to communicate with people who are not very aware of your mother tongue. So mother tongue influence is where you can start working on if you wish to. Now, there is one thing I've heard in the meeting, so I thought I'll just address it. Some speakers said many times. Now, in English, there is no such thing called many times. It is many times. Many is an adverb. Sorry, it's an adjective. For example, if you're talking about a dress, you say one dress, many clothes, many dresses. So it is not an adverb. And parts of speech, degrees of comparison in parts of speech only applies to verbs. For example, good, better, best. So if you're comparing two things, you say better. There is no such thing called manyer because it is not a part of verb. So you can just say many things instead of manyer things. So this is linked to degrees of comparison. You can just go ahead and check it. Avoid using manyer times. Er as a suffix is only used for adverbs and verbs. Moving ahead, there are a few mispronounced words. Pronunciation is one thing I would want all of us to work on. Apart from that, we have done a pretty good job in terms of grammar. Pronunciation is where we can work. Every time you find it difficult, you can just cross-check the pronunciation before you prepare for a speech or something. It is not a very big problem, but I think you can, when you're almost there, I think you should just hit the 100% mark, work on the pronunciation. And I also notice people using a lot of abbreviations, TTM, GE, TMOD. Instead of that, if you can just take the full form, that is better. Apart from that, all of us have done a great job, and this is one of the rare meetings where I heard most of us being grammatically correct. So I had a lot of fun. With this, I would like to conclude my report and hand over the stage to our general evaluator, Toastmaster Amit. Thank you, and over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Vaishnavi. your counter role, and one more thank you for your grammarian role. So brilliant job on both fronts. Now, coming back to my report, my take on today's meeting, starting with the timelines, I think that was one area where we could have started well on time. But I understand there were a couple of role players who were not available; they didn't join on time, and there were lot last minute changes, and that causes the delay. So we started almost 15 minutes late, and that gave little less opportunity in terms of, otherwise we could have had one more probably one more round of debate with the Toastmasters available in today's meeting. So that was one area where collectively all of us need to improve upon. Now, getting into opening of the meeting, Sergeant at Arms Toastmaster Dev explained the role and objective, and he also laid down he briefed about the meeting construct. So that was there. Since we didn't had any guest today, so there was no need of introduction. And now moving to role players of the day. So I already talked about table topic master now in my previous section. Now coming to Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Akshat. Brilliant job and brilliant theme. I think it was quite engaging. So one the basic motto, like as a Toastmaster of the day, one key agenda what we have, at least educate, elevate, and entertain. So I think on all three E's, you did a brilliant job in terms of educating people what debate is all about, what needs to be taken care of, and how we can be a good debater. So you talked about do's and don'ts, and also about the format. Then you elevated this by having an exercise, and you were very mindful in terms of timings, how many sessions to be conducted, and what kind of format you will be able to take care of. So you also did a brilliant job on that front, and it was quite engaging. I think most of the Toastmasters participated in a way, and it was very well utilized. Now coming to our tag team, I think Vaishnavi has presented in terms of explaining her role as grammarian. She took a couple of initiatives by explaining the idiom in a very very engaging manner. So brilliant job, Vaishnavi. And also in terms of presenting that report, they also you kept account, whether it is as a counter or as a grammarian. You did a brilliant job by balancing both these roles in an effective way. Toastmaster Alex also, he came back with specific timelines. So I think both the tag team players did their best in terms of performing this role and making this meeting engaging, and also ensuring that all of us get a couple of takeaways which we can implement and benefit from this. So that's all about today's meeting, and I think we are well on time. At least we could not start on time, but let's try to conclude on time, so that could be one agenda what we can follow. So that's all from my side, and I think if we have tech master, probably we can do the voting for today's meeting in terms of best table topic Hawks role player and role player.
I think we should
So will it be
announce
possible?
everybody as a winner participating.
Okay, I agree. I second that motion. We are doing since we're more into debates, so I second that motion, and let's go ahead with this. That all of us had done a brilliant job, and all of us are the winners. So thank you, everyone. That's all from my side.
Toastmaster Akshat, do you have anything to add or?
Include this.
No, I think the entire proceedings have been really good. What I also like about such meetings is that, and this is a real world scenario in which you won't have all the people showing up all the time. And that's when you take up more roles and responsibilities. This is an excellent real-time example. The other thing that gets challenged in such a scenario is like this happened to me today, is that once you are not sure what is going to be, how many people are present or when some people are absent, then you tend to lose track of the sequence, like what you need to do. And sometimes you try to assume that because we are very limited number of people, do we even need to do that formality in roles and explaining it to people? But this is the beauty of this dynamism happening when there are less people. So all in all, a great get together and great participation by everyone in debates. Though I am always and I always want that whenever we all get to meet offline, if and when this happens, we should definitely do some debates in a physical setup, and that makes it even more engaging and interesting. So that's it. Thank you. Over to you, Toastmaster Vaishnavi.
Thank you
Thanks a
so
lot.
much, Toastmaster Akshay. I would totally agree to this thing about meeting all of us, meeting all of you offline. I remember being to Lucknow. I was treated so well. I had a lot of fun to finally see people who I've been seeing on Zoom for the last 5 years. I think all of us should plan. I'll be taking this up with the president and vice president as well. With this, I believe we had an amazing meeting. It was very insightful, and all of us have participated in the best of their abilities. With this, I would like to conclude the meeting and officially close the meeting number 216. I would request all of you to give a huge round of applause for yourself, and the host can